Hello, this is Pigsy doing No One Needs Vids. Yeah, I'm just going to mention about some of the project work I've been involved with. There's missing 411. I originally got interested in this stuff a while back, probably about 2013, something like that. I come across some stuff on YouTube and I just sort of got into it and watched some interviews and I ordered some books to come over and then so basically I just like I say I read through and there's different cases and so on. So if you're interested in this kind of thing with David Politis, then basically just go onto his site, Google him and order his books. So that keeps him happy. Yeah, but then I did my own stuff. Right, let's go back a little bit further. So for a couple of months, it might have been even longer than that. I was just doing mass research. I originally sort of thought, well, what sort of cases? Because the 411 focuses on the USA and stuff like that, and national parks, and it's divided each sort of different section to a different book and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'll just look at the whole UK to myself. So I produced my own book. It may be on. Let's see, I think it's Kobo. You can probably get his neat book as well. Yeah, but basically with this one, I just went off and so a bit like you got a map here of different key areas in the UK, mines. You got things where people basically they disappeared, so they're cold cases and they've just like vanished for no reason. Some of them have got some history of different things, but there's nothing for them just to vanish. And then there's kind of like an overlap. Like here we got sheep mutilations, and then you've got case of people who are missing, and then you've got say UFO reported sightings, and you can kind of see the correlation between even if they're not directly related. I mean, you can't necessarily prove there's a direct connection with them, but it's more about what sort of eerie connections could there be. It could be just stuff that's just being ignored completely, like, people say UFOs don't exist and stuff, but then again, when you see something in the sky, then suddenly your whole brain changes. And most people look in their phones at night, they don't look up at the air, and then if you look at an aircraft, I think that's a bit strange. So I've got a lot of stuff here to do with sort of mythology and all sorts of things connected with areas where the people have gone missing. And there's things that don't make sense, like this woman here sort of left her child and was out in Wales, just vanished. Other stuff here. This to do with sort of the different lake system within Wales, and then looking at ley lines and possibly other links and other connections to key points. So it's kind of looking for any kind of patterns. The thing is with ley lines, most people's understanding is they're connected to sort of ancient sites that draw in energy, but they can actually change. I mean, if you put a large building or church in the middle of it, say you cross between one of these lines or slightly over, then you're pulling the energy that direction. And there's other things. I mean, it's not magnetic fields is fairly fixed, but they can change basically. I mean, if you look at the Earth's fields, I think they say the North Pole moves by about 30 miles a day or something. So God knows how it all works, but that's basically, they say, the point of the pole is alters. So yeah, so there's different legends, different stuff. I looked at also different things like hellhounds, all sorts of stuff. So I pops in this book. The only problem is because I packed it with stuff I just got straight off the internet or researched old news articles and so on. I mean, I did write to all the different newspapers and things like that for permission for different information. It's just an issue of getting proper clearance from them, and then you need some documentation to prove that you have the rights to use it. So this is like a bit more. This book is basically technically what they call it is a public domain type book. So that's fine. Then you've got these different stories where you've even got black-eyed children identified basically in this area here. So anyway, back to business. Basically, I realised that there's a lot of paranormal potential activity, but it may connect to other things. There's kind of a pattern. I think once you get one type of activity, potentially other interests for whatever reason occur. It could be that there's dimensional like portals in the area, or it could be to do with like power points to do with ley lines. It could be mineral-rich areas. It could be all sorts of other things that draw people in. But there are areas that just don't have any missing cases and basically no paranormal sort of activity or anything out of the usual, even in their folklore. So and also got to add some things about weird suicides as well. These sad things happen, but there's like a demonic entities and other things like that. You know, basically people might be in essence possessed and just, rather than just walking out, or you know, they've basically done something out of the blue that's out of character, and it may be something that was triggered in them by something else. So that was that book, and that's my 2015 one, and then I went into the 2016 one, which I've also compacted down. Basically, I decided to redo it all and sort of read through the cases and put it all together myself. I was sort of stitching the theory work together, so I looked at all the theories, how do they interconnect. So I've sort of gone into my own personal experiences of sort of things I've seen, dimensional entities, stuff like that, because I think that's important as an author, that you've got some kind of experience of stuff that's going on. Extra dimensions, different things like that. It's probably quite in depth, even like it's got DNA having a frequency, because what would the interest be in these entities on say abducting human beings or different things, and also the sort of pattern, like how one can overlap to another. It's a bit like here. I've demonstrated that there's basically a person within his own territory, and then you've got an interest by ET entity, and then there's the opportunity which is created in this abduction window. So it might be at night it occurs, or where there's low activity, or maybe he has a pattern of activity, and it puts him in a vulnerable position, like, I don't know, goes for a walk in the woods at this particular time, or goes somewhere out of the blue where he can sort of be picked up quite easily. So that's what I touched upon there. I did touch upon other stuff. Yeah, it was stuff like hit upon dimensions, and it was quite complicated for people to understand that you could be in one dimensional but place, so basically like the location, but it'd be in different frequencies things, so therefore it's overlapped, a bit like time, the way time, see, I'm not moving, but it is like almost like a projector. The concept of a projector being all these different images put on top of each other, and if the universe is kind of holographic. So all of this stuff sort of covered in the theory stuff at the beginning, and then we look at some sort of cryptozoology and other things like that. But then I've gone into my maps, and I'm basically looking for the strongest evidence I can find. So we got the basic facts about the people that have gone missing. I didn't want to over sort of go into it, because I could rewrite an article and it could mirror something in a paper in some ways. I would say, well, you can copy my paper. I don't, well, no, research. But if you want to stick to the facts, you're going to have to basically go down the same lines on certain issues. And then I just put in the different UFO sightings, because I think that basically there's an overlap of the paranormal and UFOs. It seems to all sort of kick off in the same areas. So this is an ongoing project, and I've also got pictures from different sources of things that are seen. Like the underground tunnels. I mean, I don't rule out human involvement. I mean, I can't say all the cases are to do with so basically ETs or humans or whatever involved, but there's some things a bit weird, like, you know, basically somebody go missing, let's say an 80-year-old person who's got Alzheimer's, but he's just vanished, which doesn't make sense. I mean, if he done something and harmed himself, he'd at least find a body. Or there's some areas where lots of young women get targeted, so it could be sex trafficking, could be lots of other things in there. I'll try to go a more softly approach, and these are sort of cold cases. I haven't chased up any sort of recent cases, because... So yeah, so basically just looking at some sort of anomalies that might turn up with people. Trying to avoid recent cases, because they may just turn up. There's no point saying something happened like that, or it could have a more... well, it basically is respect for the victims' families as well, because I think once it goes past 5 years or so, I mean, they just hope to get any news back. But I think in the first year they might be quite angry, quite sensitive about it. You know, there's a lot of emotional upheaval, and it could be that there's a different reason for it to happen. But I think long term, they want to keep the memory alive of their children, and also keep other people safe. Make them more aware of the dangers, and look at all the possibilities. So I'm not saying, you know, that yeah, definitely some sources coming on picked them up. I just think it's weird that there may possibly a certain amount of activity in it, like this map, a certain amount of activity of sightings of UFOs, and people go missing in the same area for whatever reason. So yeah, so at the moment this is a collaboration of work of different areas of the UK. So I've covered the whole of Britain. I'm just in the process of basically just finishing off Ireland. I'm probably going to throw Ireland into my ebook version. So that way it's kind of like a bonus. I consider it kind of part of the United Kingdom in essence. I mean, even if you want to be sort of a separate place, you know, different islands and so on, that's fine. It's just because some of it does sort of correlate to the UK, might as well just include that. And then my further projects will be looking at something like Japan and other islands that potentially have different missing cases. So yeah, so this is quite a bit of insight into the book. I mean, there probably might be some stuff that's a bit complicated, like when I go into the holographic universe. I think the only thing, or even inner Earth societies and all these other things, even these MK Ultra type stuff. I mean, basically for an individual, is just to do a bit more research and it'll actually make more sense if fitting together. Because I'd be probably spending the last 10, maybe more years researching different stuff. So it's kind of a progression basically of getting more into it. I even looked at different elemental type planes. You know, like you'd have different element states and different stuff like that. Best to do with this dimensional frequencies and all sorts of stuff that blow your mind. Anyway, I'll leave it to this on this video. I think I've probably said enough. So that's one of the women that went missing. I think one of these odd cases. I've also got Alabama. I've done. I will be doing the US at some point, but it's a very big area and there's loads of cases. There's just absolutely, you know, I mean, to be honest, there's thousands. So this book is compressed. This is probably about 400 and something pages. I think it could be more than that, actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's probably just coming up to about 502 pages. That one's about 600 and something. So I don't want to go ballistic, but I think Australia would be quite a good one to do, and these other things. Look at their folklore. Look at all these even tribal things sort of, where people have gone missing in the past. Anything you can sort of connect to looking outside the box. Anyway, this is Pixie signing off. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoy books if you're interested in them. I was going to say, oh yeah, just a quick one. This is also on Amazon. Okay, bye.